Mazumi, he's played it square, opportunity for Galman to score, that opens the count for the O's. Oh, he enjoyed that one. On the Mariners supporters, blows his whistle, George Moncur steps up and scores! Bottom corner of the net, the goalkeeper was very close, and it's John. He lets in a low cross, and a spin turn in, and Leyton Orient just back on level terms. Come to James, he shoots, oh, and a goal from Tom James! That was a volley, and that was... It's a low cross, it's an inviting cross, and it's been turned in by Theo Archibald, and he celebrates in front of the travelling faithful.
Welcome to Orient Live. It's another massive League Two fixture we're bringing live to you today, and we've got two special guests. We're only two centre-backs short of a legendary back line. We've got Glenn Wilkie and Joe Widdowson joining us, and the O's are facing Salford as we look to keep our place at the top of the League Two table. And fresh off of Tuesday night's 2-0 victory against Gillingham, confidence is high, and it's a good opportunity to pick up some more points, Joey.
Yeah, definitely. After the result the other night, the boys will be bouncing into today, hoping to pick up some more points and make it 9 points, a 9-point week following last weekend's win against Carlisle. So yeah.
And Salford's probably a team that you remember back from a few years ago, and I think there's a few in the squad that will probably still remember that rivalry we have. It's probably one of the furthest distance rivalries that's kind of brewed in the last few years.
It is, yeah. They were kind of they were competing with us for obviously to get out of the National League. Ran us pretty close in the end. We just pipped them to the league title, but they were a bit of a bogey team for us, and we had a few difficult games against them. They were a strong side back then. Obviously they've obviously got promoted themselves up into the league, so I'd like to see us get one over on them today.
It would be nice, and they've continued to be our bogey team as well. And I think I'm right in saying we've only beaten them once, and there were no fans here to see it. So it's going to be a tough test if history is anything to go by.
No, definitely. Like Joe, you said, there's this kind of rivalry from the National League because they were throwing money around, and they continue to do that. And they're one of the at the beginning of the season, they're always one of the favourites to go up, but. You say bogey team, they get in good players, they get in good strong players, experienced players as well, and mix it with youth, so that they're not a bad side. So whether they're a bogey team, I just think they are a good solid team, but they always seem to fall away back into the season, so they don't sort of live up to the expectations that people think they're going to go automatic like at the beginning of every year. But they are a strong team, and today will be a tough test.
And I'm glad to see you've dressed for the occasion as well, nice and smart for this one, and it's a big occasion for Salford as well, Glenn. That they'll be looking at us on top of the table, and they'll be wishing they were in our position, and probably see it as a scalp to take and maybe a mark of where they want to get to.
100%. I was talking to a few supporters on the walk into the stadium today, and I was saying, like, what do you expect? What do you think the game's going to be like? And our supporters are saying we'll be happy with a draw, which surprised me because I'm thinking we're top of the league, we're at home. A lot of teams sort of mid-table and below will shut up shop and say come and break us down. We'll be happy with a point. Will Salford be happy coming here and getting a point? I think they will. They're top of the league. I think they'll come more at us though than other teams. I think they'll open up and come at us. But that first, if we can get a first early goal, then they have to come at us, and then that plays into our rounds with our front line.
I mean, this is the interesting part because you look at Newport and Northampton. They both obviously, especially with Northampton sending off, they sat behind the ball for near enough 90 minutes. Gillingham tried to do similar, but they were poor, and it's clear that teams are coming here and making it really difficult for us.
Yeah, definitely. I think probably of all the games I've seen here, Northampton came and had a bit of a go. For the first hour up until the sending off, they were quite competitive. They pressed well high up the pitch, and they weren't sort of just sat in two blocks, trying to squeeze the game and make things hard for Orient. But I think, like Glenn said, Salford are a team that have had massive investment. They change managers frequently. They're ambitious. They want promotion. So I think that they'll probably come here and, I'd like to think they might have a bit of a go and make it more of an open game than what we're used to seeing here recently.
Well, it is a big one here, and Salford are going to be a tough test, that's for sure. And of course, don't forget, if you're watching along live on our YouTube, then this one is available to stream for international fans, or if you're in the UK, you can pick up an audio pass. It's a sellout as well, so if you're in the area watching and hoping to pick up a ticket, unlucky, because there are none left. But now, let's take a look at how the O's are lining up for this afternoon's fixture. In goal for the O's is number 22, Lawrence Vigouroux, and it's clear that he's got the most clean sheets since his Orient debut in all 4 leagues as well. And in at right back is number 2, Tom James. At centre back, number 5, Dan Happy. Goal scorer on Tuesday night, number 7, Paul Smith. Number 10, Ruel Sotiriou is playing in that number 10 role with number 11, Theo Archibald. The other man out wide. Number 15, Idris El Mazouni starts after coming on Tuesday night. Number 16, Aaron Drinan leads the line, and wearing the armband in midfield is number 18, Darren Pratley. Partner and Dan Happy at the back, number 19, Omar Beckles, and at left back, number 32, Rob Hunt. So on the bench for the O's is Sam Sargent, Shadoji, Craig Clay, Jordan Brown, George Moncur returns after recovering from his wisdom tooth, Charlie Kelman and Stephen Duke McKenna. So it's a strong side, and looking at it, Glenn, it's similar to the one that played most of the games in that fantastic start to the season.
Yeah. I like Pratley and El Mazouni back together and sort of sitting in front of the back four. They're very strong, very capable. Pratley has really brought El Mazouni along with his experience, talking to him throughout the games, letting him know where he should be on the pitch, and El Mazouni's coming to his own. And not only does he sit back, he has got that sort of turn of pace, and he breaks forward with the ball, and he'll break the lines and he'll get forward, which sometimes, and he does it, his timing is brilliant because he does it when it's unexpected. He'll start the game nice and calm, pass the ball side to side, keep the ball, then he'll break the lines, and they don't expect it. And he's done brilliantly this season. It's nice to see him come back in, but be interesting to see how Ruel is sitting sort of. Hopefully, I think he's going to sit in that number 10 position. Harry, he comes on now. He scored a goal in the week against Gillingham. We know what he was like last season, and he got that first goal, and then he started playing well. We got another one and another one. So hopefully that's really sparked his confidence.
We'll come on to Idris El Mazouni in a bit more depth shortly, but yeah, I think picking up on Ruel Sotiriou is important. It feels maybe a bit more attacking from Richie. Ruel can maybe play that just off of Drinan up top, and Moncur's obviously more of a midfielder, but him just behind Drinan is a real threat. And what do you make of Solly playing through the middle? Yeah,
well, if you remember last week for the Carlisle game, we spoke about Moncur playing on the left and Ruel playing in that number 10 role just behind Drinan, and we were surprised by it because we're used to seeing Ruel out wide, but we like the look of him last week down the middle, and I think you're almost sort of like taking the shackles off him a little bit and freeing him from that responsibility of tracking fullbacks, which he doesn't like doing. I know him and he doesn't like that. So yeah, he'll want to float around, he'll want to break into the attacking line, but also drop in to pick up the ball, get turned. And his main strength is dribbling and driving with the ball, which he's great at. So, he'll pose that threat for us. But as well, I think all our attacking players are exciting. Theo got 2 goals last Saturday. Obviously, Paul Smith, Ruel on the score sheet during midweek. So I feel like the front boys will be full of confidence, and hopefully be a good attacking display from us.
You say that the driving and the dribbling is Ruel's main attribute. I think he might not be too happy with that. His finishing is incredible as well. I mean, if his dribbling's better, then well, but his finishing as well can't go unnoticed.
No, his finishing is great. I feel like he scores his goals in patches. He has good runs of form, and then kind of dries up a little bit. But there's no doubt, we know he's got goals in his locker. He can score all types of goals and finishes, but when he is in that wide area, I feel like he doesn't get as many chances as when he's playing down the middle. So to see him in that sort of central area today is, I'm pleased, because I feel like he'll get more goal attempts in that role.
And we're just assuming that he's playing in that number 10 role, really, Glenn, because you've got Paul Smith who can play there, as Joe says. You've got Theo who can play on the left or the right. It can interchange. Drinan can play on the right if Solly wants to lead the line. It's flexible and it's unpredictable. It
is, but we say unpredictable, but we know the manager likes the players in them wider positions having the opposite foot. So Archibald on the right hand side, so he can cut in and come in on his left hand side like he did last week when he scored his 2. Smith again, like he did on Tuesday night, picks the ball up on the left hand side, cuts in onto his stronger foot, gets a shot. He likes doing that. So I don't think it's as unpredictable as it could be. But what I like early on in the season, when it wasn't working, he switches them about and then puts them on their favoured flank, so to speak, on so they can get past people. So that's where the unpredictability you speak about comes into it. But I think it's a really, really strong front four. I think the two players on the bench, the attacking players, you've got Kelman in there who scored goals, like you say, Monker's back as well. We've got a real depth of talent in that forward sort of areas, on the pitch and on the bench.
I mean, let's talk about the talent. You're obviously giving praise to Smith and Archibald. Smith played in that number 10 role in the first half on Tuesday night before Richie moved him out wide, and you do feel when you've got him and Theo in wide positions, they might be predictable, but you can do all the predicting you want, you still can't stop them.
No, 100%, and they're intelligent players as well. And although we know, like, Smith plays, when he played on the left-hand side and he does cut in on the right, he doesn't always do it. He doesn't always do that. And he'll go on the outside, he'll go onto his left foot, you know, and that's where, Joe, as a fullback, you've got someone who goes on their right and their left, you're like, hang on a minute, I don't know whether to show them inside or show them outside. You're going to try and show them on their weaker foot and just hope they don't do anything with it. It's a real problem, and those two boys have got masses of talent, and they can go on the outside or they can cut back in on the inside.
And they've been getting in amongst the goals recently, and hopefully that will continue. But also, Omar said in his post-match interview on Tuesday night that he was hoping Paul could maybe start providing some more, and I'm sure Aaron Dranen will agree as well. He picked up a goal at Carlisle, obviously, but he'll be hoping to maybe get back to the goal-scoring form we remember from last season.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's not far off. You know, we've got to remember he's had that injury. Richie's obviously kind of fed him in slowly. You know, he's been introduced as a substitute at times, and then he's, you know, recent weeks he's been starting. But, you know, it takes time. It's not the goals aren't just gonna switch on just like that. But he's a player that, you know, Richie's obviously got massive faith in. You know, we all saw what he was capable of last season. So I think for Aaron Dranen, it's just a case of getting those minutes in. And sort of building himself back into some sort of form, which I know will come. And
we've spoken about how attacking we are, but then you look at the midfield. Do you think Idris El Mazouni and Darren Prattley will maybe play a slightly more holding role together? Normally, Prattley gets a bit more forward, but with Rouault in there, maybe those two might have to be a little bit more reserved.
Yeah, you're right. I think, you know, overall it looks a bit more of an offensive lineup. So, you know, I think probably Darren Prattley, who tends to kind of be the one to break lines a bit more than Idris, will be the one that sits in a bit more, so it might be a bit more of a flat two in there. But yeah, you know, they'll want to sort of leave that space, if you like, for Rouault to get on the ball and do his work. And you know, they'll try and build from the back. And most of the play, I like Idris in there because I feel like he's the one that really gets us ticking. You know, he's very comfortable on the ball, good range of passing. So yeah, between him and Prattley, I think we'll be strong in there.
And let's look at Idris El Mazouni, Glenn, because he does just seem to give this side a lift. It was 0-0 when he came on Tuesday, and then I don't know, he what is it that he has? I can't put my finger on.
Do you know what, right? Looking at these clips now and looking back over the few games, you see him there, he likes to tackle. Do you know what? It's very rare you get players who love tackling. He loves tackling, but also he can play a very good long pass. We see it here. I think we're going to see another one. He gets the ball and he sprays it out. He hits the diags. He's also very happy just playing it simple and moving the ball and keeping the ball for the team and just taking a bit of pressure off. But since he's come in, he's really, really surprised me because I didn't think we were getting a player that good. And he's just settled in so quickly. He's done really well from what I'm hearing. He's very, very good around the dressing room, nice guy. And he started to add a few goals as well this season, which is nice. And we see it here. He picks it up. Was this at Barrow? Okay, it wasn't the cleanest strike, but it goes in. It doesn't matter, does it?
And it's hard to fall in love with him too much, knowing that he is on loan, and some fans might be looking at some of Ipswich's injuries, joke, and one of their midfielders picked up a bad knee injury. Hopefully it won't happen at all. Could happen in January potentially, but he probably just looks too good for this level.
Yeah, you know, like Glenn said, he has surprised me how he's sort of just come in here and he's taken to League Two football very, very comfortably. You know, I hear he's very highly thought of at Ipswich. I'm sure they're keeping a keen eye on him. But like you said, you know, we obviously don't want to lose him. So hopefully, you know, whoever's injured at Ipswich can kind of get themselves fit and he stays at Orient for the time being because he's been a very influential player so far this season.
Going back on what you said, is he too good for this league? He's looking very good for this league, but you've got to compliment his teammates around him and the experience around him and the coaching staff and the system we're playing. That suits him. Before we're at Ipswich, do they plan that system? Does it suit him then? Maybe not. He seems to have found a home at the moment and he likes the players he's playing around, he likes the position he's playing in, and he likes the system we play because it helps him and it makes him look a lot better than what he's been previously.
we can see him warming up there in the distance. And we've looked at his passing, we've looked at his tackling, we've looked at his goals. He normally sits in front of that back four, Joe, and the clean sheets we've been keeping, we just look so solid. And he's pretty credit to that as well. The defenders will be pleased to have him in front of him. Yeah, massively. You know, like we always say, you know, it's not just the defenders who defend; it's a whole team effort. And I feel like the connection that he's got with the back four, with and without the ball, is very important. You know, he combines a lot with Dan Happy and Omar. They like to play through him, but then also, you know, he does a great job screening, tackling, interceptions, and you know, he's got that youthful energy where like he can get all over the place. You know, he doesn't. Although he's been playing in that sitting role, it's like he wants to do more, and he can do more, as we've seen with his goals, and you know how he breaks the line with passes. So yeah, he's doing a fantastic job in there, yeah, been very important defensively for us.
My only concern with him is he on 4 yellow cards.
He is.
He is, right. Okay.
He's one away from a suspension. Hopefully he can see it out till January before that. But
long time.
The defence barely gets a mention these days, Glenn. They kind of go under the radar a little bit because, as we mentioned in the lineups, I think Lawrence Vigouroux has the most clean sheets since he made his debut in the Football League. So for Orient, I feel like we don't talk about them enough. We've got 9, I think it is, this season, which is unbelievable numbers.
I think the last time we spoke about them and keeping a run of clean sheets, I've give them a bit of the kiss of death, and we went out and got beat by Newport. So
let's nip it in the bud there.
Let's talk about our forwards. They're very well defensively. With the 4 forwards we got on there, they'll close them down. They'll set traps. They'll go and sort of go on and play the ball out from the back, and then the 4 of them will work as a unit and go and nick the ball as a defensive forward line. That's really, really good. And then when we nicking the ball in higher areas of the pitch, they've got the quality to then go and get an opportunity. So that's the defensive part of our team I want to talk about today.
Well, let's not talk about the defence, but let's talk about the goalkeeper. We all know what kind of character Lawrence is in between the sticks, and I'm sure he's buzzing with that stat. We're going to hear from him in just a moment, but to have him behind you as a defender as well, that must have filled you with so much confidence, knowing what he's capable of in there. Yeah,
he was only telling me about that stat the other day. Actually, I was chatting to him, but he's a great keeper, the best keeper that I played with. So good with his feet. Probably fancies himself as a bit of a quarterback or a player, but he's got great distribution. Safe hands, makes good saves, communicates great with his defenders, and he just gives you that air of confidence, knowing that he'll come, he'll claim crosses, corners, and he's a big presence back there, and also a big character off the pitch as well. He's larger than life, kind of, always bubbly, always energetic, and he brings a lot. I feel like he brings a lot to the group as a whole with his energy.
He certainly does, and it's a pleasure to have him at the club. And we caught up with him earlier this week to hear his thoughts on that stat and ahead of today's game.
Lawrence, thanks for joining us. A good 2-0 win against Gillingham on Tuesday. What did you make of the game?
Yeah, I thought it was tough. I thought first half we was quite a poor game in terms of quality for both sides, but then I thought second half we upped it, the front players did what they do, and we were good enough at the back to see it out. So it was a good 3 points, and that's good looking forward to Saturday.
There was a stat that came up yesterday about since you joined Leyton Orient, you've had the most clean sheets in the Football League. Is that one you were aware of, and what do you make of that?
Yeah, no, I just found out yesterday. It's actually quite a really good stat to have, to be fair, but in terms of that stat, a lot of it's down to the defenders. I think and actually the whole team really, because I think we press from the front. They put the defenders under pressure when other teams are building, and then it makes their passes not as clean or with as much quality as it should be. So it's not just down to me; it's down to everyone. I think that's been delivered in all the time here. That we have to win as a team, and we keep clean sheets as a team. So,
how have you found this season so far? Obviously, a lightning quick start where we're breaking records, a little bump in the road, and seem to be back on track now. So, from your point of view, how's it been?
Yeah, it's been good. I think all the top teams in every league, they don't just win every game in the league. So, we know there's going to be ups and downs, but we just got to hope that there's a lot more ups, and the mentality of the squad's fantastic. I think it's one of the best squads I've been part of since I've been playing. So it's good to have that, and we've got good experience, a good blend of experience and youth. So that stands us in good stead. So hopefully that we can continue to keep working hard and get the 3 points on Saturday.
What is the atmosphere like? Because obviously when you're top of the league and everyone's buzzing, tell us what it's like coming in every day.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think everyone's happy, everyone's bubbly around the place. But obviously, we know when it's time to work hard. I think that's the most important thing. Having that awareness that, you can have a joke and a laugh, but also when it's time to work and stuff tactically and work on stuff that will improve us for the game, that we're able to do that. So it's a good blend again. I think we have it really good here. It's a good club, and hopefully we can continue that and keep winning games.
Another clean sheet for him this afternoon. Would be nice to keep that stat going, but he's got a tough opposition in his way. He'll be looking to get in amongst goals themselves, and it's Salford. So let's take a look and see how they line up this afternoon. In goal for Salford is number 1, Tom King. Number 3, Ibu Toure. The captain, number 5, Ash Eastham. Number 6, Elliot Watt. Number 7, Ryan Watson. Number 8, Matty Lund. Number 10, Odin Bailey. Number 11, Elliot Simos. Number 17, Matt Smith. 26, Ryan Leake. And 42, Theo Vassell. And on the bench for Salford, Jacob Chapman, Ethan Galbraith, Laurent Tolaj, James Melado, Jack Jenkins, Josh O'Brien and Marcus Dackers. Now, one thing that stands out here, in recent years, you'd maybe see a few big name signings in there. You'd see ex-Man United youth players. You'd see some big names. It's maybe they're going for a slightly different approach and maybe trying something different. What are you expecting from them today?
Well, to be honest, when we played against Salford in the National League and even in League Two when they first got promoted, we felt that like they often try to sign like players from higher leagues who would obviously come and be sort of like well paid, and I don't think that kind of really worked for them. They didn't seem to achieve what they wanted to. But looking at their team sheet today, I feel like they've taken good players from other League Two clubs that know the league. Just looking at Ryan Watson there from Northampton. You've got like someone like Matt Smith, experienced forward, knows the league and stuff. Odin Bailey, another good player for Forest Green. So I feel like they've got a collection of players there who understand the division, got a bit of know-how, know what it takes to get out of it. So they look like a strong team, and I think there'll be a tough test for us today.
It certainly will be a tough test, and we need to head over nice and early today. But just quickly, Glenn, what do you expect from them today?
I think it'll be tight. I think they'll come here and just want to keep things tight, not give anything away early, and then try and quieten our crowd down, because it's a full house, as you said earlier. Try and quiet our crowd down, and then get our fans turning on our players and a few moans and groans, and then try and take the game to us, maybe nick a set piece. However, from our point of view, we need that early goal. I think first 15 minutes will really settle the nerves. They've got to open up and come at us.
We'll see how that goes, but seeing as today is our closest home fixture to Remembrance Sunday, we are paying our respects for the fallen, and it's time to hand over now to our match crunch team of Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock.